Well, hello everyone, it's Bob here, Renovation Sportfish. I'm restoring this 1973 Egg Harbor Sportfish boat if you haven't seen any of my videos. If you missed the last video, I went through a big explanation of the surgery I just had about a month ago today actually, and was prostate cancer surgery. But I'm feeling pretty good, not quite there yet, but good enough to start working on this boat again. And I'm eager to work on it, even though my body isn't quite up to snuff to do the things I want to do, or maybe even the things I'm going to do. I'm going to find out. It's my first day over here. So anyways, here's the project I'm going to work on for a while. It's not going to get done in this video, obviously, but I'm just going to call it the doorway project. Basically, it's going to involve varnishing both sides of this door, maybe doing a striker plate on the frame, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that. I'm going to replace or put the window back in. So the door will be basically finished by that point. The other thing I'm going to do is this fiberglass hatch up here. I'm going to take it off, strip all the rest of this gel coat off, do some fiberglassing on the top here because it's kind of wavy and messed up, and then repaint it. And then the probably most involved job, and the thing I'm kind of going to do first is, well, I'll show you up here first, is the filler piece that goes in this big opening right here. And this piece right here on the ground is the original filler piece. I'm going to use it as a template, but I'm going to build all this new. And it's actually two pieces. This top piece here attaches to the hatch, and when the hatch raises, this thing kind of just swings down. And yeah, this forms the top part of the door frame. So I'll get into that and show a little bit more about that when I actually am fitting it in there. But like I said, I'm going to use that as a template. I'm going to do it a little different, I think. But yeah, that's the overall scope of this project. So this is how this thing fit in originally. Something like this. I built all this around myself. It's not the original stuff, so I could close the door here. I gotta kind of fix it, but you get kind of the idea of what's going on. Alright, so I moved on from the original piece that I was using to fit this. Had all the trim and everything on it. It was getting difficult. And I want to make one out of just like a piece of 3/4 inch plywood here, which I'm using. So when I cut the mahogany piece I have, I'm not going to mess it up. So I already started fitting it here, and I just have to cut these ears off and drop it down and keep playing around with it. Alright, well there's the template in its place, but I've also got this piece of trim that I cut, and I had to hollow out the corners to fit around that corner, so I'll just hold this up there quickly. Hopefully it works and doesn't all fall down, but there it is. Something like that. So this piece matches the width of these here. I'm going to try to sneak under here without knocking off the works here. There'll be another piece of trim on this side that matches this piece of wood. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. The sun is not cooperating. That's 1.5 inch wide. That'll go here. Oops, that'll go in this area. And you can see how that fits. Now I gotta put a piece, fit a piece up on the top there, which is going to be part of the hatch. Okay, so you just saw me fitting this over at the boat, but actually I went over the next day because I wanted to get it fitting a little bit better. So I spent about a half hour just getting a nice even gap all around it, so that when I transfer it, the size and everything over to this piece of mahogany that I cut, it's going to be a little more accurate. Alright, so after about an hour of sanding, going back and forth, finally got this thing fitting good. It's got an even gap up here and here, a little bit larger in the corner, but it is the same on the other side, so I think that's good. So I currently have it sitting on top of the door. I was going to shim this up and, just shim a gap in there, but I think where it's sitting up here is in a good spot, and it's actually going to be easier to create the template that's going to go in between here, that's actually going to mount to the hatch with this just sitting on the door without messing around with shims and things like that. So what I'll do is once I get this mount done, I'll attach this filler piece with a hinge, and then I'll just route a little bit off the bottom of it once I know it's all fitting, just for the gap of the door. Alright, so I've got myself on the inside now. I've dropped the hatch down. So this gives you an indication of where the mount has to go, right in that gap where the light is. So I'm going to get going and make a template to fit that area, and then we'll make it out of some mahogany. What's going to happen is I've cut this piece here at home, and this is actually going to go on the hatch up in here, but it has to match the contour of the actual hatch. So when I cut this piece, I had an offcut, or a couple of them, and I just taped it to the top of this filler piece, and I filmed it, but it didn't come out good. But I dropped the hatch down and then used my compass here and just followed the contour. So I have a line along this template, I guess we'll call it, and I'm going to just cut that out, and then I can put it up on top and see how it fits. I'm going to have to mess around with the edges because there's a kind of a chamfer here at the edge, so I'm going to have to take care of. Alright, well, there it is, fitting in. It's got a nice little gap at the top. That's good. It'll give me some room for adjustment, and for the epoxy, it's going to hold that on. So next thing to do, transfer that contour onto the real piece that's going to go there. Match the contour on that. I'm going to have to use the electric planer, I think, for that one. So we'll see you back at the shop. Alright, well, it's the next day. I've removed the screws from the top part of it, taken all the plastic off here, sanded these corners a little bit because they were pretty close to the paint on the frame here. This is just my template, but I'll show you quickly. I'm actually going to put a little lip on the front here. So that's probably the next thing I'm going to do. On the inside, I put a fillet all along this inside edge. All the way around, all the way along. And this whole thing's going to be fiberglassed in and painted. Alright, well, you just saw me put one layer of Dynel fiberglass on this, and I like the Dynel because it can get around these corners like this without pulling up. I did this about an hour and a half ago. I thought it would be dry by now, but I did use slow hardener, so it's not quite there yet. It's a little tacky. I thought about putting heaters on it, but I've done that in the past, and I think it's more trouble than it's worth sometimes, because I think it just heats up the wood and then causes air pockets and stuff. So I'm just going to let it do its thing and come back in another hour. It should be good to go. And I'll put 3 coats of epoxy on it because this Dynel is pretty rough. When you put it on, you got to fill the weave with some epoxy. All right, well, I just sanded this down with some 60 grit sandpaper just to get a rough start on it. Still, it's going to need some work. There is some areas where I basically went through into the weave, which is typical when I sand this out the first time. So I'll have to put a couple coats of epoxy on it just to fill in that weave and smooth it out. Like if I'm doing this area here, I'll probably flip the whole thing up so this lays flat because the epoxy will sit better on here and dry better on here instead of trying to run down onto this area, which this area came out nice because all the epoxy ran down on here. So it's going to take a few tries like this side, and I'll do the opposite. I'll flip this up this way so this is sitting horizontal so that gets epoxy on it nicer. So just wanted to show you guys because I'm actually in June now. I want to get this video out, and I got to do A lot more work, a lot more sanding on this, but you get the basic idea, and we'll get back to this in June. So here you can see I'm trimming some pieces of fiberglass to put on the stringers that I had started last summer, but ran out of time and weather. So I had to put 3 more layers on each stringer. Well, it is June, but technically I installed this in May, so it makes my May update video. I didn't film putting this in. I had filmed putting in the first 2 layers before, and this is one of the most stressful things I'm doing on this boat, so messing with the camera. If I've already filmed some of it before, I'm not going to be doing that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this, but I will say I put it in the morning, and then it was pretty stressful and intense, and I decided to take a longer lunch. And about an hour and a half later, I came back, and I had noticed that some air pockets had formed kind of on the top here, and a few little ones. I don't even know where they are right now, but on the edges, but that's not a big deal. And then, but back here, like this area right here, kind of bubbled up on the top. So it's not horrible, but I do have to do some repair work there. And I think I would have learned my lesson when I had some air pockets form over here when I walked away from it, but sometimes you gotta learn a lesson a few times before it sinks in. But anyways, I am happy with it overall, and it'll work. I'm gonna leave it for now. I did put 3 coats of epoxy on it, that's why it's very shiny. Just give me something to sand off, so I'm not sanding it to the fiberglass when I do the next step of prepping it, but that's not going to happen for quite a while. I'm going to move on to other things, and yeah. Alright, so here we are now on the starboard side, and this side I had actually planned to put the 3 layers of fiberglass on it today. I prepped it yesterday and a little bit during the week, but I decided not to do it because the temperature is going to be pretty cool today. It's going to get into 40s tonight, and I didn't think it was going to go too well. I'd have to heat up my epoxy, and yeah, I didn't feel like getting into those extra steps. So next week it's going to be warmer. I'll just hold off till next week to do it. So I was hoping to have this done for this video, but it's not going to happen. You can see, I couldn't show you on the other one because the fiberglass covered it up, but I did enhance the fillet down in this corner here on both sides. I did it on the other side too. I didn't think the radius was large enough, so I mixed up a little thickened epoxy and got it in there and sanded it down, which was a lot of sanding actually, more than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to do the other stringers differently, so I shouldn't have to do that. But this one, yeah, when I put those first 2 layers on it, really didn't make a really good radius in there that was consistent. So now it's nice and consistent, and it worked out really well on the one I just showed you. So I'm confident this is going to look good, and hopefully I don't get the air pockets forming, because I'll watch it when I do it. But this will be in the next video. I'll give you the update on this, because I'll do this next week. But I'm going to take advantage of the cooler weather this week and today and work on something else. So, like I said, I'm going to take advantage of the cooler weather for this week, and this is not going to be in this video, but it's a preview of what I'm going to be working on in June. And actually today, I'm going to start today. I'm going to remove this stringer here on the starboard side and this little piece here. I'm going to take it out all the way and be working on this whole area for the next week, trying to prep it and get it ready, and then end up fiberglassing this area down in here in the hull, and then building new stringers and putting them in. There was a comment when I started the stringer project, one of the viewers, and I totally agree. They said maybe you don't want to take them both out at the same time just for structural integrity, and I do agree. So I'm just going to do the starboard one here and get everything done up to this port one, and then when that's all fiberglassed in, then I'll put the port one in. I might build both stringer plywood pieces at the same time, but I'm only going to do one at a time and get that in. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Of course, that'll be in the next update video. Alright, well that's going to do it for the boat portion of this video. Now if you watched my last video, I kind of went over a project I was working on over the winter, and that was building some bar tops for this cabana back here. So just to follow up with that, I'm going to show you those and then say a few closing words. Alright, well here's my bar and my bar tops. This one over here is one that I've had done for about 5 years. It's getting a little dull, needs to be cleaned up and varnished again, but it's held up well. I do take them off in the winter time though. And then this is one of the new ones, and it came out really good. I'm super happy with it. It's all mahogany. These brackets down here, I just bought them online. Had to paint them because when I put the ones on the other side, they were kind of rusting, so I just painted them with a better paint for outside. But yeah, there it is. Got my kegerator out here, and just made this. I'll just show you. I made this tapper here with a can and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I like that kind of beer in the summertime. But anyways, there we are. That was a winter project, and the doors you saw me opening here, the bar tops made these look a little shabby because they've been out in the weather for a long time. So I ended up taking these two doors off, and the ones across the way that I still have closed, and I redid those and painted those and did all the hardware over. So it turned into quite a job, but I'm glad I got that done. And yeah, that was my fun winter project, and hope you guys enjoyed checking it out. Well, that's going to do it basically for this video. But before I go, I'll just mention, well, anyways, I'm just going to thank everyone for all the nice comments and things about the surgery and the interest in what I did and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate that, and it made me feel really good, and it made me feel good about actually doing it, because a lot of people had an interest in it, and that was great. So anyways, thanks a lot for that. The other thing I'd like to say is going with my health and the video you just saw. At the beginning of the video, I was all gangbuster about doing a lot of work on the boat, but the reality was I had a lot of stuff to do around the house here to open up the pool and just get this going and doing all kinds of things. I was power washing and doing a bunch of stuff, and that really kicked my butt, and it was my body telling me you got to slow down. So I had to slow down on those projects, and then I didn't really get at the boat too much because all the spring stuff I have to do took priority for me, especially trying to catch up after being down for a while. So anyways, most of the clips you saw were actually filmed at the end of end of May for all those projects. So I'm hoping in June I can keep moving along. I'm on a pretty good pace now, and I'm feeling a lot better than I was even at the beginning of that video, like 2 months ago. So yeah, that's good. Now the other thing that happened between then and now is I actually achieved my goal. It was kind of a back of the mind goal of getting 2,000 subscribers, and that's pretty good. I got a lot of subscribers recently, and pretty happy about that, and it really does make me feel justified in keeping doing these videos, because all I want to have is the notion or the thought that people are actually interested in what I'm doing, and it's worthwhile doing, because I'm not monetized, as a lot of you know. And so yeah, as long as people are interested, I'll keep doing it, and that shows interest to me, and it gives me more inspiration to actually keep doing it. So thank you to the new subscribers, and also people who have been subscribed, because every subscriber calculates into 2,000 plus now. So great. I'll have to a shout out to everyone for subscribing and liking and commenting and all that. So yeah, it makes this much more pleasurable and worthwhile. So anyways, I poured myself a little mini beer here because I do have to work on the boat tonight. I don't want to drink beer before I work on the boat. So cheers to everyone. It's been sitting here for a while, but this is take 2. But anyways, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything, and I hope you enjoy my videos, and you'll come back and watch the next one, which should be out in sometime in early July. So until then, take care, and we'll see you soon.